Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Guitar Souls podcast, episode number 39, apparently.
We think.
Yeah, I'm one of your hosts, Mr. Levi Clay, and I'm here with my good buddy, Mike McLaughlin. How's it going, man?
I just dabbed on camera. That's how good it is. How are you?
Horrified at the idea of dabbing and all of these things that the kids are down with.
It's not even a thing anymore. And randomly, I've decided that I've not even decided. I've started doing it, and I don't know why, and I can't control it.
I was doing Kaylee dancing at Marcus's wedding, obviously, because that's what people do in Scotland. And there was, I can't remember what dance it was, but there was a section where someone in the middle had to turn and do a dance, a person on the outside, and you do it to make them want to dance. And everyone was like, well, why don't we all just, like, let's all floss? I'm like, I don't know what that is, I'm sorry. I understand, I see what you're doing, but I don't know what that is. Do you think that by doing this move, I'm going to go, oh yeah, I know what you mean?
That's me ready.
Yeah.
I really, really enjoyed the Kaylee band, but I hate Kayleys, and I can understand why no one was dancing. It's a shame, because as a band, they were fantastic.
Yeah.
And they were really trying.
I actually enjoyed myself in moments of the dancing, mainly just because of how chaotic it was and how everything in a situation like that always falls apart.
Oh, aye, and you thrive on the idea of people being uncomfortable and not enjoying things.
Yeah.
So you'd have been there giving it big, like, schadenfreude, just loving it.
Yeah, and I'm trying to help my wife through. I'm counting to give her a sense of where the pulse is, when we should be moving. Right, she's getting raging at me for doing it because she's embarrassed. Right, so we're doing this dance, which was introduced to us as a waltz. It was going to be a waltz. I was in 4. It was definitely in 4.
Sounds like a great waltz.
Yeah, and so I'm dancing. I'm counting to the wife, and I'm like, this is in 4, right? And she says, so, and I said, well, it's not a waltz, is it? It's not a waltz. Waltzes are in 3. And you know what she said to me? Levi, I think you'll find they know what they're talking about. So there you go. Famous waltz in 4. These things happen.
I always remember every waltz I've ever been in going,
Yeah.
At least to me, that's how I remember it.
So for those of us watching rather than listening to us, you will notice we are wearing the exact same clothes as we were last time. We're just dirty bastards. No.
Fashion, please.
I know, exactly. So we filmed 2 consecutive episodes because as this goes live on YouTube, I don't know where I'm going to be. I don't know where I'll be living. I don't know what my situation. I may have just given up and just buried myself in a hole somewhere.
And the boxes in your living room.
Yeah, fingers crossed I'll have a home soon. But as it currently stands, we don't know what's happening on that front. So that one's going to be fun. And hopefully I'm sorted in the next couple of weeks, or else we're going to have to go and do an impromptu one of these somewhere. Like, I don't know. Where could cash convert us?
I think we could go a walk up the hills, go up to like the top of fucking Tinto Hill or something.
Now the problem with that is the battery on the laptop would die immediately. You'd get like 20 minutes done and be like, no thank you, I'm done. Thank you.
My laptop runs alright, it's got quite a good battery life.
It's a combination of having to record over an hour of HD video and audio streams, audio sources.
That's why we could just use a DSLR and then just have the computer for audio only.
No, that definitely doesn't work because you use a DSLR. So you've not had the joy of experiencing this yet, right? You film on a DSLR, as soon as the video file is 4 gig, it splits and starts another file because it can't.
My GoPro does the same.
Yeah. You will find that there will be times you will do that and it will drop a little bit. It will lose a little bit of footage in the middle.
Oh, that's always good.
Only a few frames, but it'll annoy you.
That'd be more than enough to annoy me.
Especially if you're doing what I do when I film with a DSLR. I'm recording the video and the audio separately. So there comes a point where things randomly go out of sync. But anyway, we have to do the intro. We have to do the big thank you to our sponsor. Big thank you to Ormsby Guitars. You can see a couple of them behind us.
Yes, you can. And they're mine. Do not fucking touch them. No.
I was going to say.
Anyone who would like to try these in Scotland or anywhere that I am in the world at that time is more than welcome to play them. I love putting them in other people's hands.
And I hear a rumour there's going to be a couple more coming to Scotland real soon.
Really? Where will they be? I mean, not here, but where will they be?
Yeah, I was going to say on the wall behind us, but they won't. I mean, that'd be very awkward if they were on the wall behind us.
Yeah.
I'm just knocking on the door. Hello, can I come back into the house that I used to own? Thank you. They will be on the new studio wall when that is built. But why don't you do the spiel on Ormsby? Because you've been playing Ormsby a fair Ormsby. Well, I did it. I was very Sean Connery.
Yeah, for over 2 years now I've been endorsed. I've been very lucky to have the privilege and the pleasure of owning the Hype, and I've had I think the Goliath nearly a year now, maybe not as much as that. Incredible build quality, incredible pricing, like up there with just about anything else you can imagine competing, but with its own beautiful sales points. Obviously, you have fan frets, extended range, and there's a few other brands that are obviously on that now. Not to detract from them, but I've played a few different ones, and I always go back to the Ormsby as just being the right ones for me. As Levi pointed out in the last video, incredible for down tuning and having extended range, especially when you want more tension in your low end and just a bit more clarity, because it brings a lot of the low end out. Certainly for me, I find playing in B standard, which is already quite a low tuning, you can get fairly muddy fairly quick. These guitars generally don't do that, especially the Goliath. It's just so clear and precise. As I was saying in the last video as well, obviously when Levi was out sorting out the dogs, the stock pickups, like everyone else is out there doing aftermarket stuff. You buy a guitar over 600 or 700 quid, you're getting DiMarzio or Seymour Duncan, and that's great because they're both incredible brands. Sometimes bare knuckle as well, again the same. I don't feel like I need to change the pickups in these two guitars. I think they do everything that I could ever want and more. Just so versatile. It's literally just two humbuckers with a coil split and a 3-way switch, and what more could you need? Genuinely, what more could you need?
That's actually a really great segue. I'm going to go with that as a segue in a second. But yeah, head on over to Ormsby's website, check them out. You can try them in local stores such as Guitar,
Guitar, the biggest UK stockist as far as I know.
But I'm a big fan of their sort of crowdsourced run system. So they'll be releasing new runs of guitars, and you can get on board, pre-order, payment plans, etc. And you won't get screwed over like you will with one of the other brands that we're going to talk about today. That's not the segue I'm going with.
Which is a shame, because you mentioned this and I've still not seen what the story is.
I know. So
cock teasing me.
Yeah, we'll get there. So this is the other thing that I just spontaneously decided I wanted to talk about, and you led into it quite nicely there by saying, what more could you want, right? And that puts us in the land of, well, what more could you want? What's missing, right? What is it? What's missing in your musical life right now? What could you want? What
money
is in the way of your musical life.
That's what's missing in my musical life. I enjoy playing. I get to play cool gigs. I travel. I have cool guitars. I have cool equipment. My rev pedal, my crank amp. Money?
No, I don't think money is the right thing.
Okay, tell me what
even
it
then,
is.
you're asking for the impossible.
Yeah, true.
It's time. Surely it's time for you.
That's not just in music. That's in life in general. Yeah.
We do. Everyone would like more time to do things.
Yes.
But it just got me thinking, because obviously, like, moving out of this house, bought a new house, building a new studio, having to put a lot of time and money into, soundproofing and acoustic treatment, and so it's a proper studio. And it gets me thinking, like, will I ever be done? Is there ever a point where I'm like, it's done now? I've got enough.
Is that the same question as, are you happy with your tone? Because the answer is no.
Yeah.
Even when the answer is yes, the answer is no.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I think it's a struggle that we have as musicians in general. Evidently you don't, though, because I've asked, like, what more do you want? And you don't seem to want anything.
Well, there's lots of things that I want, but
I'm interested. I mean, this is a podcast where we talk about guitar-related things, so rather than going, well, there's too many to even bother talking about.
No, not at all. So I say money, right? Money would buy me time, because if I had money, I wouldn't have to work. Therefore, I would have a few more days free per week. Mm-hmm. Other pieces of equipment that I would like, I'd love a load of different cabs. I'd love some two-note stuff. I'd love to build myself a studio. I'd just love to buy equipment. I'd love to have ridiculous amounts of guitars and amps and pedals and whatever else.
Imagine you having a studio that you have no idea how to use.
That'd be great, wouldn't it? I'm actually getting pretty good at using Reaper. Thank you.
Good. I'm proud of you.
So you should be. I'm not very good at it, but I enjoy it.
It always comes back to time.
It does.
Like, I'm in that position where I've got all of the gear to make good stuff, and I forget that the goal is always making good stuff. That's what I want to do. I want to sit down and make stuff, but I don't have the time to do it. I'm going to go out there and batter that dog. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Maybe I should bring him in, because he's all fluffy and he's all clean.
Get him in.
Yeah, I'll get him.
Get him in.
Keep talking.
Young Teddy. No, you're right. I think when you say that about time and getting lost in what equipment you have versus what you're doing with it, because I'm pretty bad for that, to be honest. I have my mobile phone that's more than capable of filming. I have webcams that are 720 or 1080p, and I've recently went and bought a DSLR. just on the off chance I got offered a good deal with it, and I have done nothing to film with it just yet. So you're right, you can have as much gear as you want, but don't lose sight of the point of just actually creating content with it.
That's exactly it. Like I've got that 2 notes torpedo, the torpedo live there, torpedo, and I've not used it.
Yeah.
Like, are you having a laugh, mate? What is it? I brought you in here so you'd be quiet, not so you'd grumble even more. You've had a lovely groom today. You're freshly cut. You're soft.
So
you smell
handsome.
nice. Yeah, cool. Calm down, please. Do you want to go over my shoulder? Come on then. Oh, Jesus Christ, dog.
It's like a parrot. That's his comfortable place.
Go, there you go. Up you go. Good lad. There you go.
That is his safe space.
Go. Yep.
Maybe not today. Don't know what's going on with him. I can see the dog taking a dive off the back of your chair, dude.
There you go, bud. He's happy now. Yeah, so just gonna keep crying. I want to make music. I want to sit down and do some recordings. I don't need more stuff. I need the motivation, and that's really what I'm getting at. Like I brought this up as a subject because as guitar players, we let so much get in the way of doing the things that we really know we should be doing. Oh, I need a better pedal. I need a new amp. I need a new guitar. Actually, you don't. It's a Scott Henderson thing. The hardest part of composition is the application of ass to seat.
That's such a good point.
Yeah. And I find it to be the case when I sit down and actually start doing stuff. Things happen, things work. It's the application of ass to seat. I've actually got to do that. That's the struggle. So hopefully I'm going to be a little bit more motivated, but I know I won't be. Get a new studio and it'll be like, cool, I've got the perfect place to go and record some brutal tunes.
We're going to have to do it. I think we should set ourselves a challenge.
A challenge of doing
actually getting the finger out and writing some music.
Yeah.
Levi and I actually started writing music about, 2 and a bit years ago.
Yeah.
Before I had Mormsby, actually.
Yeah.
And we'd written a couple of tracks together. Our ideas to put some riffs and stuff down. And I think the problem was the application of ass to seat at that point, because we'd done a few riffs and we're like, oh, these are pretty cool. These could develop into something. And then we're going to eat pizza. Yay. We're going to play fucking PlayStation. Yay.
Life gets in the way.
Fucking life does get in the way. I say that quite a lot.
So, yeah, I guess that's what I'm saying to people that are watching, maybe listening. Get motivated. Get motivated. Go and do something. Go and make some music today. Learn something new. Like, better yourself in some way. Don't lust. Don't stop coveting thy neighbour's studio. That's the thing. Cool. So that was semi-serious, but I want to lead on to something. Well, this I guess is serious, but also really quite funny as well.
Yeah, coveting someone else's things is probably a good way to segue right into this.
Yeah. So it's been a while since I've had the opportunity to talk about this stuff, mainly because it wasn't hugely interesting. Like it got to the point where I wasn't interested by it anymore. Covered it. Didn't seem to be any more story to tell. It was all about time. Letting things happen and seeing where things go. And then Andrew over the All That Shreds magazine, which is a great little blog. This guy has really been putting in the work, like seriously putting in the work, more so than I ever could have imagined.
Respect to you, brother.
Ever could have imagined doing. And even it's been an issue. He's had cease and desists on it. Exactly.
Sounds like Lance.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? So, but
wait, I'll get a cease and desist for saying his name.
I know. He continues to write about this stuff though, and
good.
He's really done the work, and I've got some really interesting develop. Like he's dug up everything from previous lawsuits to Lance's original filing for bankruptcy, many years ago. All of the history, it's there. He has found all of this stuff. So I would urge people to go on over to allthatshreds.com and check it out. He does like to reiterate the story often, and he uses some of my videos to get the point across to help things out. But in short, it seems now that after lots and lots and lots and lots of fighting, customers are starting to get refunds because Andrew, forgot his name for a second there, because Andrew has really started to point out that there are legal issues that go around promising to create something for someone, taking the money and not delivering it, and then not not giving a refund. Like, that's not just bad business, that's wire fraud, which is a much more serious crime. Yeah.
Fancy boy.
Yeah, though it has taken a lot of pushing for people to get money back. When I say Andrew is putting in the work, like you wouldn't believe the amount of work this guy's putting in, pointing out and finding and getting the legal information to demonstrate that these franchises that Lance has been selling, as far as Andrew can discern, they're being sold illegally because he's not licensed to sell franchises in the states that he's selling them in.
Even better.
I know, it's absolutely shocking, absolutely shocking. But the really fun one, this is the real fun one.
Just before you go, I find it incredibly funny that a man who willy-nilly threatens legal action doesn't have a clue about legal action of his own fucking responsibilities. That's great.
Yeah. I will have you kind of skim through this in a second and pick out choice bits, but the part that I enjoy the most is he's just recently spoken to a gentleman that worked for TTM. He was brought in just before NAMM to put those guitars together for the NAMM show in a rush. And, long story short, obviously the guy came in, did all the work and never got paid. Still hasn't been paid.
Shocker, really.
Yeah, I know. Who would have thought it? He's now sort of telling his story. Now, it had been reported that these TTM guitars that were at NAMM were unplayable. And when I say unplayable, I mean you were not allowed to play them because they were unplayable. But we now know why. So this guy has come forward and said the problem that happened with those guitars was essentially this is the first time these guys had ever built guitars in the US. So they hadn't taken into consideration things that experienced builders will know. For example, when you CNC a body, you don't just CNC the body and CNC the neck and then bolt them together, right? There's more that's involved.
Obviously.
Like?
Hand touches, contours, just any number of things, you know what I mean?
I need to run out and take this. Read through this story.
I will read through it. I'll read it out
my
loud.
solicitors.
Oh, the big man's busy. So this came forward today. This was actually just released 25th of June. After our last article on TTM guitars, our email inbox has been flooded. To familiarise yourselves with TTM guitars and owner Lance Benedict, we went into brief detail about the history and the issues and problems of the company during 2008 to 2010 of customers ordering guitars and not receiving them, a contest giveaway that never materialised, and transactions on eBay that were never completed. Benedict ended up filing for Chapter 7 bankruptcy protection soon thereafter, which, you know what, doesn't surprise me. I remember from way back when I was young and inexperienced, as anyone in the music industry, I was just a guy who played guitar in his bedroom, really, had a wee band, seeing these guitars on eBay and thinking, wow, that's something else, that's quite cool, that Super Strat with the kind of old school knife style headstock, and there always been something that stopped me buying one. Hopefully that was a good intuition, but it might have just been money. Anyway, these went to the US bankruptcy court for the Central District of California's website to research. We went to the US bankruptcy court for the Central District of California's website to research Benedict's Chapter 7 filing. These records are public. You can read that here. And there's a link. This is on allthatshreds.com. Upon reading the filing, Benedict claimed he had no money to pay off his creditors. One thing that caught our eye was he had a car business before TTM guitars. John Samora was suing the Benedicts for a Porsche that he'd paid them $92,000 for, which he wanted to return as he didn't like it. From there, things got real dicey, and you can read about that here. So that's another statement. Needless to say, Zamora won't be seeing any of his $92,000 back as it was discharged in his bankruptcy. This guy seems to have quite a lot of money that seems to disappear. Weird. What does that have to do with the present? Fast forward to 2019, as we've reported in previous stories about Benedict and TTM, let's discuss franchises. That's right, people, TTM Guitars is now offering franchises of its guitar line to people who are interested in protected territories across the country. And I don't think we can click on these, can we? Can we zoom? Excellent. So own a TTM franchise today. Join the fastest growing guitar company in the world. Contact us here to find out how you can own a TTM franchise. Benefits include, I don't know, I'm guessing that means the next line. TTM Guitars are now offering exclusive franchises. It's an exclusive opportunity to own a franchise of one of the fastest growing and exciting guitar brands in the world. TTM Guitars is up 800% year over year, and with the addition of our new USA factory, our numbers are projected to increase in 2019. Numbers of what people have gave you money or guitars made, because the chances of guitars being made are very slim. So, I assume that these are the benefits included. Direct customer referrals to your territory from us, ability to offer your customers guitars only available from you, drop shipment from our factory directly to your customers, 24-hour technical and customer support, special concert, NAM and VIP invitations as a franchise owner, sales links on our website that link directly to your territory for sales, and much more. This opportunity is on a first serve, first come basis. Okay, don't hesitate. Inquire now to see if your territory is available. Exclusive ownership and distribution rights to your respective territories. Ability to earn more profit than our guitars than any other brand. Well, I mean, when you have all the money coming in and have no outgoings for actually building the guitars, that's technically true. Territories now selling worldwide, deep discounts and high profit margins, a brand supported by platinum selling record artists, thousands of loyal customers, earn royalties from sales driven from our website, direct customer referrals to your territory from us. It's just repeating the same points over and over and absolutely no figures or evidence whatsoever. Deep discounts and high profit margins don't go together. It just doesn't happen. Ability to earn more profit on our guitars than any other brand assumes that you either have such a profit margin that the guitars are dog shit, and you know that, or that you know the margins of every other competitor and you've undercut them, which would mean you couldn't have massive profits. It was pretty stupid, to be honest. In 1970, the California legislature enacted one of the first franchise disclosure laws in all the country. The franchise investment law generally requires franchisors to register with the department before offering and selling franchises in California. The franchise investment law also requires that registration disclosure documents and final franchise agreements be provided to prospective franchisees at least 14 days before the sale of a franchise. The purpose of the pre-sale disclosure is to provide fully and truthfully material information about the franchisor and its franchise offerings to their prospective franchisee prior to their prospective franchisee making a purchase decision. That seems like common sense and fair business to me, and not a hard thing to comply with either. The California Department of Business Oversight requires anybody offering franchises to register with them. As of this writing, which is today, TTM Guitars nor Lance Benedict is registered to offer franchises in the state of California. We contacted the Washington State Department of Financial Institutions, and they also have no record of Lance Benedict or TTM Guitars filing for a franchise. Now, let's meet John Fitch. John contacted us after reading our previous articles on TTM and told us he worked for Benedict before the Winter NAMM 19 show and was never paid. So here
we're getting to the juicy bit.
Oh, definitely, man. I've just read through everything. I read through the parts of the franchise, and my summary points were to bold the claim that you can give deep discounts and have the highest profit margins of any company means that your stuff's either so cheaply built that it's dog shit and you know it, or that you somehow know everybody else's margins and you're undercutting them, therefore you can't have the highest profit margin.
Yeah.
So, nonsense.
So you've got right to the fun bit now, and the bit that I brought up, which is, remember I was saying CNC machines. Mm-hmm. What happens after you take something off a CNC machine?
And what should happen after that?
What do you need to do once you take something out of a CNC machine? What happens to the guitar?
You need to sand it.
You need to sand it. Yeah.
Of course you do. You need to contour it. You need to make it feel right.
You need to sand it. Right, so you take more matter off the guitar.
So
they hadn't factored this in.
I thought you were going to say that they cut it to the exact size rather than leaving
cut
it
it to the exact size.
Fannies.
Right? So they sand these bodies and they sand these necks, and then they go to put them together, and they're like, "Hang on a minute, these are all loose.
What's going on here? Why does this neck pocket not fit exactly?"
What a fucking clusterfuck!
It's just it's a basic disaster. I've never built a guitar, and the first thing I would think is, cool, anytime you machine anything, you leave spare so that you can handcraft it or continue to fix it. Easy. Right? There was one part up here that I went back to laugh at. What was it? Did I just try and find it? Sorry, I'm getting distracted here because it was something I was laughing about, but it's kind of went off my mind.
And it's also pointed out by this guy that worked for the company that all of the hardware and shit that's going on these guitars, it's leftover stuff from the China days.
Of course it is.
It's got bags and bags and bags of this cheap Chinese shite that you wouldn't put on any guitars. And yeah, we're just throwing these on.
I said earlier when you were out of the room that I had seen these guitars years and years and years ago, and I mean like easily 2008 when they'd first launched, if not before then, right? And I remember thinking, wow, those are good looking guitars. They're quite cool because they were. Like the pictures of them are super strats with flame tops, dual humbuckers, 24 frets, cool reverse headstock, and what looked like a Floyd Rose. But something always stopped me buying one, and I'd like to think it was intuition. Probably not, but I never bought one.
Well, the thing that stopped you buying them is you never, ever, ever buy something from a brand you've never heard of. A brand that has absolutely no track record.
That's a big part of it, yep.
All these people taking pride in the fact that, oh yeah, I'm endorsed by TTM USA, like I'm a USA artist. What? Why? You've never played one of these. You've never... Lance himself has never played one of these instruments because they don't exist yet.
That was basically my point. What was it? It said ability to earn more profit on our guitars than any other brand. And I thought to myself, well, I mean, you're technically correct, because if you're not putting any overheads out whatsoever and just taking money off people for something you're never going to build, then you've got the highest amount of profit ever because you've got no costs.
I mean, it's also ability to earn. Well, I mean, that's true of anything. If you become a Gibson dealer and you take in a £900 Les Paul, but you decide that you're going to sell them for £5,000, like, yeah, you've got the ability to have a higher profit margin than anyone else. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean you'll get it though.
That's the actual probability is none.
Yeah, and it's tragic to me because I look at all these franchise guys that are paying in money to Lance Benedict, right? A man that's already declared bankruptcy to avoid paying debts back.
Was it twice? Did I read that right? Or was it the first one where the Porsche was written off as well?
I assume that was over the same thing.
That was at the same time, yeah, because he had a car business. Yeah. I haven't even read what's been said by John Fitch yet. Let me read that out.
Yeah,
because I haven't seen it just yet. Okay, so I'm guessing this is a copy from an email that was sent by John. I answered an ad Lance put on Craigslist looking for a luthier. We then briefly spoke on the phone, where Lance gave me the shop contact info and agreed to pay me for as long as Pat, the manager at the shop, needed me. He said they had just fired an employee and he needed someone to help assemble some guitars to show at their booth at NAMM. I showed up at the shop the following morning and spent the rest of the week wiring pickups and attempting to assemble guitars. A luthier saying that. Yeah. At the time I arrived, there were 8 other employees. Our main focus was to get 12 guitars completed so they could be taken to NAMM. What I walked into were 12 guitar bodies and necks in various stages of completion. My assigned duties were to install and wire in the pickups and install all the body hardware. Once I had completed those 12 guitars, I was then asked to cut and install frets in all the fretboards. This is where the first miscalculations were discovered, and put that in the inverted brackets there. It was not until this point a neck was finally mated with a body, and it was discovered the necks were now too narrow for the neck pocket. There were also a lot of irregularities in the sides of the necks that occurred during sanding. The fingerboards would no longer fit on the necks. To make matters worse, the neon-coloured paint they'd been using on some of the guitars were proving to be a problem. Any slight bump to the body would dent the finish, and then the paint would chip off. I don't even think that's so much the paint. Is that not the primer and whatever else has been done to seal the body so the paint actually sticks? So on they go. Basically, errors had been made in calculations and cutting the necks and bodies on the CNC machine. For several months, the guys in the shop had been making bodies and necks so they could say the guitars were made in the USA. However, no one bothered to actually make a prototype to check for playability and sound quality. They were going off finished specs of guitars from what they were made in China. They never took into account that the necks and bodies would need to be sanded after they were cut on the CNC. As a result, after sanding and painting, nothing fit together. And this error was not discovered until I tried to do the final assembly the day before NAMM. Lance instructed us to assemble the guitars anyway. That these guitars would only be put on display at NAMM and would not be made available for the public to actually play at the booth.
Which was, yeah.
And
confirmed.
Fucking pointless.
Yeah.
Absolutely fucking pointless. Although the bodies and necks are cut in California, all the pickups and hardware are leftover remnants from when the guitars were made in China. These are shopping bags full of pieces and parts sitting on the shelves in the Grass Valley shop. Shock fucking horror. There is nothing USA made about that. Nah. Fucking scumbag.
And these guys are like these guys that think they've got a deal. They're paying $2,000 for one of these things. And
no, they're paying $2,000 for nothing.
Yeah, and most of them have been waiting well over a year for a guitar now.
For nothing.
Yeah, for nothing. for nothing.
For nothing.
And then the franchise guys come in to pump more money into the company so Lance can afford to refund people that are kicking up a fuss.
To pump more money into Lance's pockets before he claims bankruptcy.
There's another guy that I'd actually warned of this. I remember this happening a year ago. Like, he posted, I'm with TTM now. And I'm like, dude, seriously reconsider this. This is a bad move. And he responded with a snide comment saying he knows what he's doing and, you know, you just need to have a bit of faith, etc. So it's kind of fun to see things blow up for someone like that. But he got an email. It was in a previous story in All That Shreds, and I would again recommend that everyone go and read this stuff because it's very interesting. He essentially got an email from Lance saying, look, I've authorized a refund. You're getting your refund. I'd also like to offer you a free guitar as a goodwill gesture.
He said that to somebody else, if I remember correctly.
Under the terms that you don't tell people about this, and that you don't tell people about this offer, and that you remove all negative comments and reviews of TTM guitars from online.
Tell you one better, Lance. My comments will remain, and I will shout from the rooftops until you provide me my refund and my free guitar. There's your terms.
Yeah. So, and it's worth pointing out, when Andrew started writing about this, Lance did reach out to me again, clearly quite annoyed about the fact that my videos had resurfaced. And I pointed out to him the thing that I said to him at the time when I took him down. We have an agreement in place. You provide me with a guitar for a review. That's your offer. And as a kind of partnership that goes with that, I will remove these videos to give you a fair shake. You know, I'll let the guitar come in. I'll let it speak for itself. If it's shit, I'll tell people it's shit, kind of thing.
Yep.
I think that looking back, what he assumed he had done there was bought me off with the offer of a free guitar, assuming that the guitar that he was offering had any value to me whatsoever, and it simply didn't. Like, the guitar, I had every intention of burning it afterwards, like, because it has zero value to me. It doesn't matter that it retails for $2,000. It has no worth to me.
Lance,
so it's not you're not bribing me with it. Like, I don't.
But I'll put this out, right? This is a public statement. If Lance wishes to send us a guitar, we will show him the many ways that the value of that instrument can be proven as any other object than a guitar. I'm talking like a shovel.
Yeah.
Somewhere to store your knives.
You'd use it as a cricket bat.
A cricket bat.
Yeah. So the reason I was bringing this up is Lance did get back in touch because he was annoyed that the videos were back online.
Sorry, Lance.
He sent me, I think, about 25 emails over the course of one evening. He was
he's
emailing
an angry
me.
man.
Yeah, I was just constant. He was just asking, oh, well, you know, I'll come back. Why don't I come back on your channel and we can talk about it and you can make a video talking about it?
No.
You know, your viewers will really enjoy it. And I was like, mate, no, I'm not interested in
giving you a platform.
In giving you a platform. In fact, I'm kind of going back on what I said to him a little bit here, because what I said is I have no interest in talking about you or your brand ever again. Like, the story has been covered.
If it died at that point, that would
done.
be fair enough.
But here I am talking about it again. The point is, I've got no interest in giving that man a platform ever again, because I think he's a piece of shit. Like, that's my opinion of him. I think he's a shady piece of shit.
He is a con man, literally, like the literal term of a con man.
Yeah.
All about confidence and nothing about delivery.
Yeah. Yeah. When people start having all of their stuff delivered, then maybe he's redeemed himself. But, you know, when you're having to refund as many people as you're refunding just to try and, you know, damage control, it's absolutely fucking ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous. So keep going. I'm just going to
happily
dog clean it.
John is claimed to be owed for 44 hours of work at the agreed rate of $15 an hour as promised by Benedict, which comes out to $660. Not a lot of money. A fraction compared to what some people have paid for guitars, so not like you couldn't find it. In the photos above, you can see John has tried contacting Benedict several times regarding the money he's owed. As of this writing, John hasn't been paid for his work 6 months ago. Again, this has come out today, so it'll be very interesting to see where it goes from then. And then you've got Levi's video. We contacted the State of California Labour Standards Enforcement Bureau, and they told us any employee owed back wages, including 1099s, are encouraged to file a wage claim with their office. The link is at the end of this article. My understanding is a 1099 is a self-employed contractor. So therefore you would have just a at-will contract pretty much. John also raised a good point of how a guitar company not make a prototype, take months to find they were off their calculations, and tell the public how they sound when none are stringed up and can't be played. Here's the story of Jan Sonnen. He was promised an endorsement deal from TTM and received emails, excuses and legal threats. Obviously, like everyone else.
Yep, go on.
Sure, I'm just going to zoom in a wee bit. Hello, Jan. It's come to our attention that you're defaming and slandering our company through multiple avenues and attempts. How would you like to proceed? Our legal team will contact you shortly. After sounding awesome, we'd love to get a new axe in your hands by that show. Talk soon. Which was, what, a day later? Literally a day later?
I like in the next email, he's called Juan now. Hey, Juan.
By the same person who sent the first email. Hey Juan, Brock from TTM here. TTM was founded by players and people, man.
TTM was founded by used car salesmen.
Why do I want to read this in the dude's voice from the Big Lebowski? TTM was founded by players and people, man. Our responsibility as a company is to produce, and there have obviously been delays. That was never our plan. Well, you've never met your responsibility once. The frustration you're feeling is completely reciprocal. No, it's not. We've subcontracted 2 USA companies to help fulfill back orders. No, you haven't.
When was this email sent?
This was the 7th of February this year. I'd like to know what those companies are, in full disclosure. That'd be interesting. If you are unhappy and feel unheard, you have to take it up directly with us. That's your responsibility as an artist. No, it's not. There's no non-disclosure agreement as part of being a fucking endorsee. What a stupid statement.
Yeah, if you get treated like shit, then...
Why would you not fucking scream that for the heavens? You know what I mean? You're supposed to be building a business relationship. If you can't have a reciprocal business interest or fucking even the slightest amount of decorum, then why would they bother being nice to you? These are fucking useless. And we have to do a better job of communicating, which is why we have made some staffing changes. So that sounds like they're nearly taking responsibility, but not quite. It's like fucking BP. Remember when the fucking, was it Spillwater? Happened? What it was called? Yeah. We're sorry. We'll always make it right. There's a reason we have artists and fans worldwide. Our sole goal is to bring music to everyone.
There's a reason we have artists and fans worldwide. Certainly not because they've played any of your guitars and love them.
You've never made it right. You have yet to make it right.
Yeah.
You do not have artists and fans worldwide. You have people who have bought into your fake business, your fraudulent business, who have not got what they have paid for, that you are now refunding en masse after selling what seems to be illegally. Franchises into your business. You are fronting money to pay people that you already owe.
Also, saying we'll always make it right. Look, taking an order from someone and then a year later refunding them their money is not making it right.
No, it's not.
You're not like your customers aren't 3 lines of credit for you.
Building 12 guitars, and I put that in brackets for guitars because they're unplayable, to show off the skills that you have, none of which can actually be played by allowance or physically be played because the guitars don't exist as functioning units. It's fraud. It's ridiculous for whatever you're saying here. It's unbelievable. So a further email here. Let's go up a wee bit more, read this one. Your Devastator is set to ship the first week of March alongside with some TTM goodies, shirts, etc. Our new production facilities are firing on all cylinders to catch up in back orders, yours in particular. You paid in full back in June, and patience is completely understandable. The artist compilation CD is running a bit behind schedule, but you'll definitely be featured. We want it to be mastered properly to showcase all of our talent. There are a lot of killer tracks, and we want the overall feel of the CD to be consistent, so the release date was pushed back a bit. Make this your main avenue of communication for now, and we'll take care of everything for you. Talk soon. I'd love to know, is Brock his son?
Yes.
Right, makes sense.
Still calling him Juan.
And just not being useful at all. Oh, come on, just zoom in the fucking emails. Hello Juan, sorry about the confusion. Your guitar will have a 2019 year designation because it's a new USA model and they will all have that, even though some guitars will be built this year. I'm sorry that your songs cannot be used on a compilation album. No reason why. When we ship your guitar, we send it as a gift, artist endorsed guitar, and put a very low value on it. Shipping is included. Is that not tax evasion?
Yep.
Great way to put that out there, silly sausages. Lance, the owner, said he can help you with your NAMM visit if you decide to attend. He obviously cannot pay for your flight, but will give you a free all-access pass and other perks.
Why obviously cannot pay for your flights?
Because they want the onus to be there, and if you want to be there, you need to pay for it.
No, of course, but why is that obvious?
He's obviously got a lot of overheads that he has to pay for, you know. All those staff he has to pay, and parts and labour for the guitars that he's building, and You know, he's a man who's busy, doesn't have a lot of money. Everything's tied up and accounted for. Please let me know if you have any additional questions. I will have corporate send over the agreement invoice when you're ready. Best, Victoria. No idea who Victoria is or who corporate are. These all come from the same address, by the way, artists@ttmguitarsUSA.com. Is it one of those ones where they just put random names at the end of the emails to try and pretend there's hundreds of people? Because that's how it seems. Any other business you can think of doesn't have might have a dedicated email, but will have one or two people you know on that staff that deal with everything. And they'll also have a visible social media presence.
Yeah.
Or much bigger companies will have the names of the people that you're replying to. They'll have individual email boxes. This to me just screams no one is accountable. And again, back to hi Juan, you absolutely will be involved in the production of your new guitar. One of the A&R reps, Brock or Jess, will reach out to you to go through the press release and go through the details of colour, style, pickups, bridge, etc. The current build time for custom artist guitars is about 10 weeks from completion to ship time. 10 weeks, aye, digi, aye, sound aye. Please let me know if you have any other questions. We will send over the agreement when you are ready. Best, Victoria. Hey Juan, Brock from TTM here. Please direct any inquiries to me through this email as Jesse is no longer in our A&R division. Thanks and talk soon.
These guys have turned over more staff than they have guitars.
There's at least 3 people have sent through those emails. At least 3.
Yeah, I'm not going to go through that one, but you get the idea. It's a mortifying situation. The entire thing is it's shocking. It's shocking that it's still ongoing. Not just because it's still ongoing, but because there are some people that still haven't woken up and smelled the coffee.
It's like
deluding themselves into thinking, no, everything will be fine. Everything will be fine, man. You
know what? I feel as if I've woke up inside the Matrix, Morpheus is sitting in front of me, you take the red pill and you see how far the rabbit hole goes.
Yeah.
And it's just like, when will it stop? When?
Like, I think people really need to sit and look at these court cases in the past where this man has, I don't want to say run off with people's money, right? But has taken people's money, owed people money, and then has put himself in a position where he cannot financially pay that money back. So he's declared bankruptcy.
I don't believe for a second, and this is my opinion, speculative opinion, completely speculative, that money wasn't somewhere he could get his hands on it from.
I mean, that would be interesting speculation.
That's my speculation. It's nothing more than that. There is no evidence whatsoever, so this is not slander or libel in any way.
Point is, get your refunds before it's too late. Apart from Jason, Music for Sanity, you mate, you deserve it.
Jesus. Okay, I guess Levi's calling people out now.
Yeah, I am. Well, the story there is he was talking shit about me in the TTM group, right? So I commented on one of his YouTube videos.
I bet he's got a bit of egg on his face now.
Yeah, he's talking shit about me in the TTM group. So I responded on one of his YouTube videos with a response, just to, I saw what you said and this is my response to it, kind of thing. And then he went back in the TTM group and was like, oh, great. And now Levi's harassing me on YouTube and he's pointing all of his fans to me and crying bullying, essentially. And I'm like, hang on a minute. No, you talk shit about me behind my back in a place where I cannot respond. And then I respond to you elsewhere and suddenly that's me picking on you. No, that's not how that works in the slightest. People. If you're going to say something about someone, make allegations, they should be able to respond to those allegations.
Yep.
So I've tried to reassure him several times that he's making a terrible, terrible mistake, but he's one of the guys that's bought a franchise. So
he bought a franchise?
Yeah, he's bought a franchise.
I thought he bought a guitar.
He bought a guitar and then he bought a franchise. So
Jesus.
Good luck. Guy's going to lose a lot of money. And I hate saying I told you so. I don't. I love saying I told you so, but it's the same with the Hess situation in the past. I've got to know a few of the guys that have exited that situation, and they're all like, "Man, I don't know what I was thinking. I should have listened to you sooner." And I don't.
That's
hold
how
any
con men work.
Yeah.
They sell you desire. They sell you a dream. They sell you this is what you've got in the future.
Yeah.
Does not exist.
Cool. Tell me about Tone Buddy.
Well, if we're going to talk about getting more bang for your buck, then Tone Buddy seems to be quite an interesting business model. It's probably the best way to put it. So, Levi and I had this in the group chat, and we're talking about it as well. So this essentially is a mail subscription service where you can borrow guitar pedals, and there are quite a ridiculous amount of pedals. I haven't tried to sign up myself, but I would assume that you have to have a credit card or whatever linked to it to use it. But the idea is that you make a list of 5 pedals, browse the store, and you can pick whatever pedals you want. They will send you one. And yeah, I don't know if you have it for a set amount of time or if it's a length of time. And then you give it back to them and you'll have the next one come out. So if you need pedals for recording or you just want to try them before you buy them, they have a great line. And by the looks of it, there's quite a lot actually on there. And they have, they've got just about every Boss pedal you've ever seen. Jeez, oh. A couple other boutique makes in there as well.
It seems to be everything Boss have made, and then a few more boutique pedals.
Yeah, the Chase stuff's good.
Actually, I'll bring this up so people can see.
Yeah, so we went through genuinely the Dark Glass stuff. Saying that, we're only at D. It's obviously
okay. Yep.
Alphabetical.
So they clearly do have a lot of product, which
they
is
do not have. Jeez, oh. A spectrum analyzer. That's actually quite a handy thing to have.
Yeah, it's certainly an interesting idea. I don't know though. I think pedals are too expensive for you to be lending them out to people. You're talking about essentially pedal rental, right? Now that's exactly gear rental. Now, there's nothing wrong with gear rental. I think that's a great concept, but I don't see the need to have a subscription for gear rental. You know what I mean? Like when you rent power tools, when you go into the shop, you're like, I need a power washer or whatever it is. They never say, have you considered signing up for a year of rentals with us?
Okay, but this doesn't say necessarily you have to have it for a year. I would think it's more so like you have the subscription if you want to just try 100 of different pedals. If you want to have it short term, 30 quid's not a lot of money to ask for you to try 3 different reverbs, especially if they're high end reverbs.
But that's not what's going to happen. What do you think? The annual pedal subscription is 300 for a year. It's £30 a month. Mm-hmm. And I would assume, I'm confident with this, that you sign up for your £30. As they say in there how it works, you make a list of 5 pedals they have that you are interested in. Mm-hmm. They will send you one of them. Because you can't pick, because what if they don't have it in stock? Mm-hmm. And the list of 5 will give you whatever's in stock. So you might not even get the pedal that you really want. You're going to have it for a month, and then you're going to have to send it back. I don't imagine they're going to cover postage. Could be wrong on that one. See how postage works.
Such a skeptic.
I don't want to shit on the idea because I think it's a nice idea. I do think it's a nice idea, but yeah, just there's no real like. So
return it with free postage.
Yeah, so after a month, you post it back and receive another pedal to try. So it's essentially pedal rental. You get one of 5 pedals for £30 a month. I think it's a nice idea, but unless you can specifically say I want this one, it's relatively useless. Keep talking.
I don't know if I agree with Levi in that respect. I like the idea of having this option of even if you don't get the exact pedal you want, there is still a shitload of pedals on that list. Like for those that saw it, you'll see it's just you keep scrolling and you're not even past Boss and you keep scrolling. I know it's loading stuff in. And you keep scrolling, there's Wazacraft stuff, Space Echo. Then you're into, I don't know, Caroline guitar stuff so much. Bliss, I know Chase is quite expensive and specialised stuff. And then you've got, it's just, there's so much to it. Like, there could be so many options for you that you wanted. And I don't know, I'm not sure I agree with Levi. I like the idea of it, but I also do respect that it's a novel idea, maybe not so much a fantastic idea for a full long-term business plan, because I don't know how many people are going to sign up for a year, because then you've got 12 pedals. You only get to pick 5 if you usually all 5 for that month, unless you're not going to repick them every month, in which case if someone's got the same ones constantly, you'd be pretty pissed off. It doesn't mention how much stock they have of these. Like I'm still scrolling and I'm barely past Electro Harmonics. That's pretty ridiculous. I think if you were someone who, the value in it would probably be someone, if you owned a studio and you have a lot of different people in, and you like to give production ideas for albums, like, I like the sound of that, but maybe try this, or try some gain stacking, here's another pedal, or I think this reverb would be really interesting to hear it in this mix, etc. And there's a lot to that you could throw in, because then you've got so much more variance as to how you can help people adjust their sound and just fuck with signal paths, really. I'm just saying, Levi, you'll hear me now if you didn't hear me outside, that I think it's maybe an interesting business idea for someone who runs a studio, especially if you take a very active approach of producing things, because if you've got the opportunity to have pedals in that bands maybe haven't used before and you want to see how they sound in signal chains, etc., then as long as that band's not in for 2 days, you know what I mean, for like just the quickest of recordings, then it might be good for that, because then you've got, I don't know, right, I like your fuzz pedal, you've got a big muff or whatever, however, we want to, have you tried anything else? Why don't you try one of these? We can get one at the studio for you
next month. Not
necessarily, you're going to be asking before the person's in, I would think.
But again, you'll have one of 5 that you're selecting from. Let me see when we try and subscribe. So, monthly pedal subscription, interested. Add to cart, view basket. 30 a month. There's a coupon that you can do. Check out. Oh, you must be logged in to check out, so I've got a... Yeah. Novel idea. Honestly, novel idea. I just don't like the pick 5, we'll send you one of them.
Fair enough.
If it was tell us what you want, we'll send it to you. Cool. But then I just look at it, I'm like, well, why a monthly subscription? Why don't you just have a website with all your pedals on, and I can pay you £30 to rent it?
Yeah, like have what current stock you have rather than just a add to basket or wish list or whatever it is. Yeah. Whatever happened to the digital pedal platform that Tolman was launching? Did you ever hear any more about that?
It's not launched
yet. It's not yet.
Yeah, I think it was a case of they pitched it. They're telling us that, we've got the technology. It's coming together.
We have the power.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. So, I honestly, I don't want people to think I'm poo-pooing the idea. I like the idea. I just feel it needs tweaking, needs refining. It's like if Dragon's Den type thing, or Shark Tank if you're watching from the States. If someone came in and they pitched this idea to me, I'd say, I like the concept, but I feel that you just need to refine it before it's something that's going to be hugely successful for you.
I think the massive amount of stock that they have is their way to negotiate that concern, because they have pedals from just about every manufacturer you could imagine. You'll always find some form of alternative to what you're after. I think that's why they say the pick 5.
But here's the concern, well, the question, right? How do we know they have those?
How do you know you have them?
How do we know that they actually have all of those pedals?
Well, why would they advertise them and not have them?
Because it's easy enough to advertise something there as an option. Mm-hmm. And then if somebody wants to rent it, cool, we're getting subscription money from a bunch of people. Now we can buy the pedal because we've already recouped some of the costs on it.
Okay. I mean, I think you're casting a lot of doubt on...
I'm not saying that there'd be anything inherently wrong with that. That would make smart business sense. Mm-hmm. Why would you it would be a huge investment to buy every single one of those pedals just to have them in a room in case someone wants one of them this month. You know what I mean? There'll be pedals on there that people will literally never, ever, ever rent. And when you consider, you're talking like a pedal for £80 for like a Boss, like a medium range Boss pedal that no one's going to rent. No one's going to rent it. But they need it listed because it's all about appearances of, we've got everything.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe they've got deals with distributors or the actual manufacturer. I would think to have the full list, they would have some sort of link up to the manufacturers. I would like to think, because I know that if you're a supplier for Boss stuff, for example, if you stock it in a store, you can't buy 1 or 2 pedals. You have to buy the full range.
Sure.
You have to have every one of their pedals in stock.
Yeah.
You either stock them or you don't. Whether that be the same for a company like this having to buy them in, I don't know. But
is their logo, is that something covering its ears? A dog covering its ears?
No, I think it's got floppy ears.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it makes a lot more sense. I was like, why are you...
Your guitar tone is shit.
As soon as you
Subscribe
said
to
that,
us.
I can see it exactly for what it is now. It's a dog with floppy ears.
What you like?
Yeah. Nice idea. Totally follow it. See what people go. What do you guys think though? Let us know in that comment section below. Has anyone given it a try? Part of me is considering, mate, for £30, maybe give it a try. Maybe I'll just give it a try and make a video, talk about it, see how it actually goes.
You are a pedal fanatic, to be fair.
I am a pedal fanatic. Yeah, I do like pedals, but £30 for one, we'll see. So there we go. There's that one.
I mean, for the same price that you pay for a year subscription, so say you buy the annual subscription at £300, you could buy every Moore pedal that's ever existed and have every tone in the world.
You know who distributes Moore pedals over here?
Tell me.
Strings and Things.
Is it? Oh.
We like the people at Strings and Things.
Oh.
I do. Is there any more stuff you're after?
What, bits and bobs?
Yeah.
I'm always wanting new gear. Always want new gear. I had my eye on it, the idea of a Moore radar, but I don't run front of house, so
Is
I
that
don't see the point.
the
Cab sim?
Yeah.
You can load your own IRs. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So let's move on to the final section. Total Guitar Magazines.
Oh, no, you're missing out one part.
Am I?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
How could you miss that story?
yeah.
We're talking about money in this episode constantly, and here comes the money.
So, all right, yeah, fair. Dave Gilmour selling his a bunch of his collection and it going for record prices. His Black Strat went for almost $4 million. That's the record, right? The most expensive guitar of all time.
$3.975 million.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
And big up Dave Gilmour, just going, you know what? I've done all right. Here's all these guitars. Auction them for charity.
Yep. Do you know what I found really interesting about the entire thing?
Tell me.
Very, very small charity as well.
That's even better.
Very small charity.
What was the charity for?
That's-
Before it ends up being for like fucking...
no, it was. I want to say it was a homeless charity.
Right, cool. I mean, it makes sense if you're going to put all that money into climate crisis. Aye, climate change charity. Client Earth.
Okay, yeah. So
That, I mean, it makes sense if you're a small charity and you have big ambitions to do something, then getting all that money, you would hope, would be the big massive pat in the back that you would need to get the finger out. And I'd imagine if he's gave it to a charity so as specific as climate change, then he's obviously got strong feelings for that
passionate
too.
about it, yeah.
Which is cool. That's fair enough.
Or let's be cynical. Maybe he's just got family members that work at the charity.
Maybe
I kid.
Dave Gilmour is actually Captain Planet.
Earth, Fire, Wind, Water, Heart, Go Planet. Imagine that. Imagine being the one that has to be heart. What does that even mean?
Prick.
The elements: earth, fire, wind, water, heart.
Meant to be life, obviously.
Yeah, that earth, fire, wind, water, life. I could go for that.
Perfect, wouldn't it? But heart isn't life.
Yeah.
There are things that live that don't have hearts.
Captain Planet. How long before that gets a film? That's the real question.
Have you never seen the sketch that was done? I think it was College Humor that done it. It's Don Cheadle as Captain Planet.
No.
No, and he becomes a mad tyrant and turns people into trees. It's so fucking good, man. So funny.
Nice.
So good.
Yeah, I'd
Shout out
put
to
it
that.
on, but I'm tired of these videos getting copyright strikes.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
We tend to play these little like clips, and then I'm surprised when it immediately gets copyright strikes. I'm like,
Why are you doing this to me?
cool, fine.
Okay. So,
Before we do this, I just want to again further apologise to people that I keep nipping off. This is the word, like a very inconvenient recording period. Groomer's here, solicitors calling me. They were no help. Absolutely useless bastards. Absolutely fucking
as opposed
useless.
to...
Honestly, when I bought this house, mate, my solicitor was dynamite. She took care of absolutely everything. Nothing for me to worry about. I never needed to call her or contact her. Anything. It was all just taken care of. We are moving out of this house next Friday, as far as I'm aware. I say as far as I'm aware because I've not been told. Yeah. Literally, the last time I spoke to my solicitors, that's the first time I've actually spoke to the one that's dealing with this particular house. I'd only dealt with a paralegal. I took some paperwork in 2 weeks ago. Not had a fucking peep from them since. Yeah, fun.
Classy.
Fun. Yeah.
And I'm sure, knowing you, that you are so annoyed by the fact that you will not contact him just to see how long this goes on.
Honestly, Mike, I nearly had a breakdown 2 weeks ago. I nearly had an actual crying on the floor breakdown because it was buying the house on. I'd gone to see it on the Friday.
I hope you censor the address there.
Just there's a long fucking road.
Yeah, but there's just gives them an area.
Cool. I mean, people know I live in so yeah.
You're just giving people ways to dox you.
Yeah, fine. I'm not Marcus. Like,
Come on, Lance.
I've no reason to be to not be doxed. Send your lawyers. Like, I'm used to it at this point.
No, that's not what doxed means.
Getting your public information out there,
yes.
Which then, when your public information is out there, makes things like lawyers coming after you much easier. You know.
Yeah, if they've got reason to come after you.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily just as a legal thing. Yeah. It's vigilantes as well. That's the scary ones.
What vigilantes are going to want to come up for what?
Bans Lenedict.
Good point. But yeah, an actual near breakdown because went to see the house on the Friday, told the people there that we will. I know it was the Thursday. Sorry, went to see it on the Thursday. Mm-hmm. Told them we'd have it. We agreed a price with them. I said, "Cool." My solicitors will be in touch tomorrow to confirm, and my solicitors didn't get in touch to confirm. Monday rolls around, still not got in touch to confirm.
You joking?
Yeah. And I'm trying to liaise with the people that were selling the house, and they're like, yeah, no, we've not heard anything, and they'd taken it off the market. Don't be calling me again, please don't be calling me again. Teddy's farted as well. It's just that's my wife. Hello, wife. Yeah. Why do you always phone me when I'm recording? Because Mike's coming over and I'm doing a podcast.
Haley, just tell me fuck off.
Yeah, I've got a lot to do. Bye. Honestly,
how dare you phone me and want to speak to me, wife?
Normally, I would like cancel a call like that, but it's becoming a bit of a meme on my channel to me. Like just answering her calls and being like, "Why do you always phone me when I'm fucking doing something?"
Because she loves you and you're always busy.
Yeah, I am busy and I have to.
So
be
what you
busy
saying
to
then?
buy
Don't
the
phone
fucking thing she wants. To look after her.
Yeah, because you don't buy yourself anything.
Yeah. But it got to the point with the solicitor, right, on the Monday where I was like leaving the messages because she wouldn't answer my calls. She was literally not answering my calls. And it was like, look, I don't think you understand. This needs to get done today. If this doesn't get done today, you're fired. That's it. Fucking done. And she wasn't getting back in touch with me, and I was like, honestly on the verge of having a breakdown, and got a bit snappy at Haley, and I was like, because it's always me. I have to deal with this stuff. You won't deal with this stuff because you won't phone anyone. You won't talk to anyone on the phone. She's like, do you want me to phone them? I was like, I would actually love that. And I could immediately see her being like, but she did. And you know her, she's super calm and collected, and
nice, and reasonable.
So she dealt with it, and because they eventually called me back, and I had to give Haley the phone. I was like, babe, I can't. If I speak to them, I will fucking explode.
Yep.
So
and quite rightly, I'm surprised even Haley didn't do that, to be honest.
Yeah. So
I'm sure she gave them both barrels, but in a much more polite and
very polite way. Yeah, kill them with kindness kind of way. Yeah, that's how that works. So just apologising for the state of me constantly leaving during this podcast. Not intended, but yeah,
that's all right. We still love you.
Do we?
I still love you.
Oh, you love anal. That's a callback right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. It's the last episode. So yeah, Dave Gilmore raised a huge amount of money for charity and utterly commendable. Good stuff, mate.
Also, it's quite interesting that the Indianapolis Colts owner and renowned guitar collector Jim Irsay was the person who purchased 3 items from it, including the Black Strat.
3,
and he has a mega collection apparently. So Jim's $5.245 million in purchases made up 24% of the auction, which is insane. But the full thing made $21.491 million for charity. That's insane. But the thing I wanted to mention is that Mr. Irsay's collection also includes a Gibson Black Beauty. A Gibson Black Beauty, so it must be the original or whatever. George Harrison's Cherry Red 1964 Gibson SG, Jerry Garcia's Tiger, Elvis Presley's Martin D18, and more. So this guy obviously likes his guitars.
Yeah.
And he must have some fucking money if he can just drop 5 and a bit million.
Yeah.
3 guitars, that'll be.
Yeah. Though the quote, the incomparable David Gilmour, the greatest phrasing guitarist in the world. Really?
Jim, go and sponsor us. Go on.
Really? I've got a client actually that I do a bunch of Gilmore transcriptions for, like a mega fan, like he's a mega Gilmore fan. It's not like, oh, this song and then this song and then this song. It's this song from this recording and then this live version of it and then this live version of it, and it's the same like 4-minute solo section. But he wants, what did he play on this solo? What did he play on this solo?
That's cool.
Yeah, of course, people are mega fans, but like I transcribe it and I'm like, cool. 2 minutes into the first one, I mean, that's it. That's all there is. You've heard everything that he's going to play on all of these recordings are in that 2 minutes. He's not like
bend a tone, bend back down, bend right up 2 tones and back down.
It's not like he's got a wide vocabulary of things to say, and that's why I find the idea of phrasing like a very, I don't know, it's a very loaded term, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Because are you really expressing yourself if you only know 5 words? It's a really interesting area. Like because I have a wide vocabulary.
You turned it into such a backhanded compliment, but it's not even a compliment. It's the opposite. It was just so backhanded.
Well, I admire it because it's like he's done so much with so little, which it takes a very smart person to appreciate the fact that actually what my audience want is that they want very little. They want the same thing packaged in many different ways. What
an incredible segue.
Yeah, that's what they want. So I've never been a huge fan of Dave Gilmour, but it's not that I dislike Pink Floyd or anything. But
I think it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Just sorry before we break away, but soon you're talking about that. Like, it's not about the gear; it's about finding time to create. Dave Gilmour's one of those guys that's created a lot of good music.
Yeah.
So whether you focus on his solos or not, like, there's way more to him than that, I think.
I don't want people to think that I'm going, because you get the kids, they're like, fucking old band music type thing. Like, I'm not playing that, but there are people that have come since that are better. I'm saying that even then and before then, like, I've been transcribing some Freddie King for someone just recently, and like, he's considerably older, right? And it's just like some really cool playing on Freddie King stuff. And you hear that, like, there's definitely influence in the Gilmour stuff with it. Same with, like, when you do the Albert King stuff, like, there's a bunch of what Dave would go on to do. Like, Albert was doing that stuff before. But yeah, the greatest phrasing guitarist in the world, I don't know, that just irked me.
It's just a professional in you, isn't it?
Yeah. Maybe it's just envy of someone that can spend $5 million on guitars.
3 guitars.
Yeah.
At that being not even a good amount, 3 guitars.
You know how I describe that? Shotgun. So we're talking about, I don't even know how to sugarcoat it, guys that get praise that shouldn't, is my opinion on this one. And we're going to Total Guitar here. We're going to totally disagree on this one, aren't we?
Are we?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. September 2008's issue, I said it right this time. Eric Clapton is God.
So the only reason I think we're going to disagree on this is because you what you said there is people that get praised that shouldn't be, right? And I think the difference between us on this is the reasons that you're going to say he shouldn't be praised have nothing to do with his music.
No, I think his music's the reason he shouldn't be praised. I don't like him as a guitarist. But
he played on the Beano album, the John Mayall and the Blues Breakers. That's the sound of a Les Paul going into a Marshall turned up so loud that it starts to overdrive. Like, he's the guy that brought that to the world.
He brought all other things to the world.
But now you're going to the.
I'm going down your route. You're the one that showed me.
Oh yeah, and we're totally going to do that. But yeah, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm a huge Eric Clapton fan. In fact, again, after I'm talking like Freddie King, why bother? Like, Eric was obviously influenced by people. That 60s electric blues, British blues revival thing. The key word there is revival, right? It came from somewhere. And if people think that this blues thing didn't exist before that, that Clapton invented it, like, it would be very, very foolish.
Very foolish. I mean,
we live in 2019. currently, right?
We live in a society.
Eric Clapton is not going to last much longer, mate. He's not going to, not because of his age, though that too.
It's quite a dark sentence, Levi.
I know.
Jesus Christ.
He's going to be scrapped from the history books soon because he's a white guy playing blues, and that's cultural appropriation.
It's not the worst thing he's done.
So, what's the worst thing he's done, Mike?
Well, you did show me a couple of interesting things.
I thought you were going to go for Tears in Heaven.
No.
No.
I mean, I'm a bad person, but that's a bit of a low blow.
Yeah.
No, he's a questionable chap all round, I think.
Yeah.
Based on the information that you showed me that I didn't know anything about.
Yeah. Do you want to read it, Mike?
I mean, I don't really want to read that, but I'll just preface it, right? This is the type of man who would proudly say, I own a black beauty, and not for the reasons that he loves a Les Paul, because he is racist as fuck.
I'm going to read the quote.
Please do.
So this was on stage.
Must have been a while ago as well, because you're talking about Enoch Powell.
Yeah, 70s, I think this was. And I also do feel that, like, you know, Clapton has apologised for this since many times, saying heavy drug use, alcohol addictions, but really that kind of stuff like that, like, really just loosens your lips. It helps you say the things that are that were inside. I'm also not a fan, though, of crucifying people for
Past mistakes.
not necessarily past mistakes that were very definitely part of the cultural zeitgeist. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, it was a time where attitudes like that were a lot more prevalent.
Yep.
And because we don't live in a society like that anymore, it's so easy to look at a situation like that and just be like, well, there's no possible reason that anyone would ever think like that. I think it's interesting to try and put yourself in the shoes of people in that time and go, not that you'd agree with them, but you can certainly look at it and go, I see, like, I'm not sympathising with you, but I understand that it's not quite as horrific as you saying that today.
Mm-hmm.
So the quote is...
Oh, it still is horrific. I just don't think there'd be anywhere near as much public outcry.
Yeah.
Because somehow this ideology, which is terrible, was normalised.
Quote is, again, on stage, to an audience of people, I don't want you here, in the room, or in my country, Clapton declared. Listen to me, man. I think we should vote for Enoch Powell. Enoch's our man. I think Enoch's right. I think we should send them all back, stop Britain from becoming a black colony, get the foreigners out, get the wogs out, get the coons out, keep Britain white. I used to be into dope, now I'm into racism. It's much heavier, man. Fucking wogs, man. Fucking Saudis taking over London, bastard wogs. I mean, these are the video instantly demonetized. Fantastic. Britain's becoming he didn't say that, I should point that out. Britain's becoming overcrowded and Enoch will stop it and send them all back. Black wogs and coons and Arabs and fucking Jamaicans and fucking don't belong here. We don't want them here. This is England. This is a white country. We don't want any black wogs. Like, how many times do you need to say black wogs and coons? Like, fucking hell. You get the idea. I'm not even going to... There's no point even
There's only about 5 sentences and it's literally just that.
Yeah. Yeah. And, obviously that's not the type of thing that you want to have to read out on a podcast.
No.
Because I'm sure someone's going to quote that. I'm sure someone's going to snip that. That's why I'm trying to read it as dry as possible. But it is important that we don't forget shit like that. Not because he should be crucified for it, but because let's not pretend the man's a saint. Though I see it on Facebook from time to time, people going on about how much Eric Clapton is a saint. Like, oh, he's just the greatest that's ever lived. There will never be anyone better. And I'm like, yeah, but, what about all the racist stuff? And people will respond with, what racist stuff? And then you post links to stuff like this, and they're like, I had no idea.
I didn't know either.
Should be remembered.
So, a sentence in this is, I used to be into dope, now I'm into racism. It's much heavier, man. Right? As if, like, I'm totally enamoured by this. Yeah. So he then says afterwards, it must have been years later, I was so ashamed of who I was, a kind of semi-racist, which didn't make sense. Half of my friends were black, I dated a black woman, and I championed black music, said Clapton. I'm not racist, my friends are black. That's what you said there. And I championed black music? No, you stole from it?
Oh, now you're doing the cultural appropriation argument.
Is it wrong, though?
You're right. Of course you're right. And more importantly, I'm not going to say that's who it was popular with. Actually, I think the British blues explosion became such a thing because it became popular in white culture.
Mm-hmm.
But it was still the music of the people, the music of the black people. It's where it came from. So it's not like they just instantly fucking disavowed it. It's certainly like a shocking thing to read. But just to clarify, this wasn't said in 2019. This was said in
When was Enoch Powell going for Prime Minister?
1976.
76, okay.
Yeah, in Birmingham, no less. In Birmingham. That's funny for anyone that knows England. In Birmingham. So yeah, no, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I've ever been a huge fan of Clapton's music. But I'm never going to downplay his influence. The as I say, you've got the Beano album, the John Mayall and the Blues Breakers album. His influence in Cream was, of course, massive. Often cited as being the first supergroup. I feel it's an unfair
What colour is
title.
Cream? More racist undertones.
Yeah. I mean, it's because the cream
He's
rises to the
Blackie
top.
Strat. Blackie.
Yep. Yeah, but here he is on stage with
Buddy guy.
I was just going to go with generic black guy.
I mean, to Eric Clapton, it could have been.
I mean,
Maybe-
it is black guy. It's Buddy guy.
Mhm. You're right.
Perfect. So, yeah. So I just see the cover to Layla, and I'm just like, dude, he played Layla, which has Dwayne Allman on it. Like,
It doesn't make him a good person.
no, I do.
Is
But
the argument here?
no, it's not. Let's be very clear. That's not the argument here. You said, I said to you that the reason you're saying he shouldn't be praised is not because of his music, and you're saying no, it is. But you're right. I'm not like Eric Clapton. Very important musically, not the best person.
Okay.
bottom of the bucket.
I
person.
don't know enough guitarists that I respect and admire who worship Clapton to say that he's definitely the influence for them and therefore important. But
Sure.
it is important.
No, that's fair. That's
right?
absolutely fair.
Is that maybe more a reason than rational way to put it?
He's not going to be an influence on.
I don't imagine John from Dying Fetus turning around and saying, "Oh yeah, Layla, that's where I come up with fucking
Sure.
any fucking number of songs."
Yeah, but the Beano album to Led Zeppelin to Sabbath to like it's a chain. There's a chain.
I'll take your word for it. I don't know enough on that subject to argue against it.
Yeah.
So that's fair.
But yeah, there you go. You got Slipknot. Thankfully, we didn't report the April Fool's story that.
Because we're a pair of fannies. Well, I'm a fanny. I posted it. It was only just I noticed it before we said it. Like, are we going to do an April Fool's?
Where did you
2
even
months
find
later.
that?
I think it was on Facebook.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I just assumed it was a new story, but evidently
So
it'd
did
been
I.
up. It'd been up for a while.
Yeah.
Hilarious. The idea of Joe George. I wanted it to go on. I wanted to do that. I have that story on, just because, just the notion of posting a picture of Slipknot's current drummer sweating bullets.
Absolutely pissing sweat. I wouldn't have enjoyed trying to fill those shoes.
Yeah,
Not
He's very
so
good, though.
good.
he's very good.
Right, that doesn't seem to really be anything else in here that's
Yeah.
too exciting.
But
if I'm honest.
so what you're saying there is really good, because I think that's what we're really getting at.
Mm-hmm.
The quality. The reason we were doing these Total Guitar magazines is because I feel there was a golden era of this magazine.
There was, and I think a part of that's your nostalgia towards it too, isn't it?
There just seemed to be not necessarily more articles that I was interested in,
Mm-hmm.
but there were more articles I was interested in.
No, you're right, and I don't think that's because you changed. I think that's because the magazine did.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel it's a change in writing style.
When I'm saying that there's that nostalgia, is that you still bought it, you still thought it was great, until eventually you got to the point where it wasn't like you fell out of love with it. You're just like, oh, I don't really read magazines anymore. But then you go back to it, and you're like, are you fucking kidding me on? Like, did I read this?
I picked this one up purely because it's got Avenged Sevenfold on the cover.
Pricks. The best 6 of 9 Dan Electro Cool Cat pedals, which are the Fuzz, the Metal 2, Vibe, Tremolo, Transparent Overdrive, and Chorus. If any of you ever owned any Dan Electro pedals like that, you'll know that the minute you stepped on them, they broke. They were made of the thinnest plastic in the world. Like, it was like reclaimed fucking Kinder Eggs or something they made them out of. Absolute nonsense.
I've got something I'm checking for, so you keep talking.
Gibson's going to go back in time and sue Michael Kelly for the Patriot Custom there, because that's nearly Les Paul. Oh, everybody's getting it. Oh, there's another brand we mentioned in the last episode. There's Luna, as Levi and I were talking about. This one might be safe though, because that's more of a Hofner than it is Gibson, really. Why you would build that, I don't know. And the interesting thing that you and I noticed about both of these magazines, both of them, is the advertising space.
That's exactly what I'm doing. Keep going.
I've got one here. So, this magazine obviously predominantly catered to, without being ignorant, it was young men, the kind of men who probably would read Nuts or Zoo, had they not had a hobby. And that would then result in silly adverts, stupid articles, and sometimes just some blatantly sexist shit going on in it. And as you're saying about it being of its time, that was kind of accepted back then. That was unfortunately part of the normal society, really. Like, young guys, lads, beer, tits, way, that kind of culture, which was big in the UK for, probably still is, to be honest, 10 years. And then you get to, you're right at the back for that one, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You get to the incredible growth and expansion of mobile phones and young people having all this freedom of information, and in some cases, most cases, quite a lot of free income as well. Young guys interested obviously in having the coolest phone and looking cool, especially to go with the gear, and obviously you want to get the most women, and well, I don't know how this really leads to having the most women, but definitely is a sign of the state of what Total Guitar thought their core audience were after. So at the very the second last page.
It's literally the last page on this one.
Yeah, so like almost the back of the magazine, where it used to have things like a gear, second-hand, buy and sell, you could list for wanted stuff or stuff that was going, or adverts for even a page or two in front of this. You've got the marketplace, so you've got stuff for clothes, alt-fashion brands, certain guitar brands, stuff, all parts there. You've got just things that are related to music, things that are related to being a musician, and stuff that links in. The Gretsch Grotto, Registry of Guitar Tutors, Wanted, Vintage Instruments.
Yeah, we
All that shit.
Show us the boobies.
And then you get to the next page, and what they're advertising is, and we spoke about this one before. What's this, Mobile Mayhem or something it's called? And it's literally just porn. Like, it is just porn.
But also illegal stuff as well. Like naked celebrity pictures.
Celebrity shockers,
Fake.
how they put it.
Fake pictures.
Yep, text GR naked to 82007. Then sexy stars. Hot sexy stars doing what they do best in a massive archive. Text intense to 82007. And then you've got wallpapers, and none of the wallpapers are... One of the wallpapers, sorry, is women. The rest are Slipknot, Oasis, Green Day, Slash, Satriani, The Offspring, Bob Marley.
And you absolutely know that none of those images are licensed, are they?
Of course they're not. Nothing about this is licensed. Look, this is someone very early on discovered that on the internet you can find information of just about anything you want, and has somehow set up a business from scalping porn and fake celebrity sites. I mean, this borders on what would be counted as revenge porn these days.
Yeah.
And quite rightly.
To give you an idea of how bad magazines got, and I think this is widely known, but I've got some stats now. This magazine is 170 pages long. I've just been through every single page. There are 69 full pages of adverts in this magazine. 69 full page adverts. Think about that.
40% of the magazine then.
69 pages of adverts.
69.
This, when you buy this shite, it's not the product. You are the product. You are the thing that's being sold.
I love the Future Publishing's slogan is media with passion. There's some media and there's some passion.
Yeah.
They don't quite go hand in hand.
The fact they're charging $4.99 for this is fucking... Oh, sorry, 70 because the back page is also an ad. So 70 pages of ads in a 170-page magazine.
Here's just a great example of what you're talking about. There is a cartoon in this of Captain Cosm with Dino Drive. Boss commissioned a cartoon to put in magazines, maybe even specifically Total Guitar, to sell their shit.
Nothing wrong with ads, of course, but it's more the shady tactic of you're paying £5 for this magazine. You're paying to be advertised to. When you look at like free newspapers like the Metro, very popular in London, right? Everywhere has free newspapers. Why? How can they be free? It's not a charity thing, is it? They're free because they make their money on advertising. This, 70 of 100 pages are full-page adverts. Why is this not free? Why is this not free? And they wonder why magazines are dying. Just absolutely shocking. It's a field that I obviously know reasonably well because I worked for magazines. I've worked selling adverts for magazines. And yeah, don't miss it. Don't miss it.
No, I fucking bet you don't. Anyone who's ever worked sales or retail that got away from it knows you don't want to go back.
It's not like when you look at websites now for news. Sure, there's adverts. We're used to adverts. But it's not
quite as perverse or as
40%.
Yeah.
It's not 40% ad space.
Oh, it depends what website you go on. I'm sure if you went on something like the Daily Star or whatever, it would just be 90% adverts and fucking God knows what else.
Yeah. So Total Guitar, when is this? December 2007, and it's just moved away from any content of worth, to me at least. Though there is a tab of Arch Enemy's Nemesis in here, so.
Oh, that's good. I mean, I think they moved away from all things relevant to guitar when they said Avenged Sevenfold, and they quoted them saying, "Our solos are going to melt your face." No.
Yeah.
Not once.
So, there we go. We've done it though, guys. We're another show, one with some heavy editing involved in this one, thanks to
me dabbing for these.
I'm going to floss. That's how that works. As always, please do leave us your comments, concerns, criticisms, suggestions, ideas, anything like that. We are always happy to read them, and it helps us move the show forward. And we will of course be back in 2 weeks, regardless of where I'm living. We will find out a way. We will find a way to do it.
We can do it in my garage. We can go and do it somewhere remote. We can do it in my car driving somewhere. Lots of good ideas.
Yeah, we'll sort it. I'm not overly concerned. It's more a case of having to actually do it.
We'll find a way, I'm sure.
And then transport all the data, and then edit it, and then upload it, and it's just so much fun. But do I look sad? Like, awesome. Get to make a podcast that people listen to. That's kind of fun. I enjoy that.
All 6 of you, thank you.
Yeah. And yeah, of course, lastly, big thank you to Ormsby Guitars, sponsor of the show. The people that bought you this very nice green Goliath, this very nice red Hype.
You're getting really good at that.
I do it a lot. Yeah, and soon a couple more. So, yeah, if they could hurry up. Going back to what we said at the very start of the show, just want to start making some music.
Yes.
And the thing that's stopping me making music is having a new guitar.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a shame.
Yeah, like the Miners, the True Temperament Evertune. You know, I got that so we could make an album. It's just hung on the wall for a year. A year. Like, it's just sat there for a year, mate. I've picked it up maybe 3 times.
First world problems, Strips.
Yeah. Get motivated, guys. Go out there, make some music, check out Ormsby, and tell everybody about Guitar Souls. Until next time.
Bye, fuckers.